This is the Black Flag Running Club. My name's Aaron Adrania, your head coach, and we're heading into week 14, and this is an exciting week because we're going to take on the La Jolla Half Marathon this weekend. This is exciting because we've been kind of putting forth a lot of effort in training and preparing for this. Obviously, the fact that it's going to be a virtual run is going to make things a little bit different, but I've got some options and some plans for you as you get ready for that race on Sunday. But between now and then, we've got a lot of other news to cover, so with that, why don't we go ahead and jump into it. All right, this week I'm going to give away some fun stuff. So this week we are all going to be competing for a free pair of Gooder sunglasses. So this is how the game is going to work, and whoever gets the most likes off of their post is going to win these pair of glasses. So this is how it's generally going to work. So you're going to go out and you're going to use Strava. Now Strava's got this option where it'll track where you've actually ran. I'd like you to do that route, but do something kind of fun and creative related to Black Flag Running Club. So I'm going to give you some examples a little bit later about people that have ran and drawn pictures of bears or just wrote out words based on where they're running. So I'd like you to kind of use those as kind of general examples, but whatever you want to do, I'm comfortable with, just as long as it ties back to Black Flag. So then when you're going to, after you've done your route, you're going to take a screenshot of that and you're going to post it up on your social media. Make sure you tag us, so whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, tag at blackflagrunningclub.com. And then for a hashtag, I'd like you to use BFRC Map Challenge. That'll allow us to kind of really focus in and really see the people that are participating in this contest. You have 2 weeks to be able to do this, so this is starting today on Monday. We'll run through not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. We'll go back and take a look at everyone that posted something, and then whoever has the most number of likes are going to win this pair of free Gooder sunglasses. All right, so get out there, be creative. Let's see what you can do with it. I know you guys are creative and are doing a lot of miles, so it should be able to become something really creative. So good luck, and we'll announce the winner in that following Monday's video after we make the final decision of who had the most likes. Alrighty, so last week we hosted our second happy hour. Again, super fun time. I'm hoping that everyone will come and join us again this Tuesday. We're hosting them through a Zoom call at 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday evening. So go out there, do your regular runs on Tuesdays. When you get back to the house, don't even worry about showering, and shoot, if you're still eating dinner, go ahead and eat it with us as well. We just gonna talk a little bit, catch up, see how everybody's doing. Specifically because this is a race week, if there's any questions that you have related to the race, obviously I will be there and be able to answer any of those things that you have on the spot. And then beyond that part, the last couple times we've gone into playing a game that's been pretty fun too, so I think we'll probably do that again if everyone's still interested in it coming up this weekend. So again, happy hours happen on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Look in our weekly post for your Zoom call login information, and then when we play the games, you'll make sure that you want to have your mobile device there with you at jackbox.tv is what you'll log into, and I'll provide you with the actual code for the game that we'll be playing live on the screen. So hopefully we'll see you this Tuesday at 7:30. This week's gonna be a little bit interesting as we've got some people that are prepping for the race coming up this weekend for La Jolla Half, and we've got the rest of us that are just going kind of more into maintenance mode. Now I mentioned this in some of our previous videos, in that once we get past up to that 16, 18 mile range, it's really hard on our bodies to keep it up at that really high level for such a long period of time, given that we don't have a new date as to when rock and roll is going to take place. So what we're kind of doing is doing a modified schedule a little bit. It'll kind of keep your mileage up past like the 12, 13 mile range, but what it'll also do is not get us into that 20, which that's really where we start to endure some of the bigger issues that kind of come with keeping the miles up that high. So really the plan is that we're going to kind of fluctuate between this low end of 8 to 10, on the high end 16, 18, and that's going to be the kind of the schedule until we get a new assigned date for the Rock and Roll Half Marathon. So with that, why don't we go ahead and take a look at what we plan for each one of these subgroups. All right, so first up, we've got La Jolla. If you're training for La Jolla, you've got a nice recovery week this week. This means that on this Tuesday, you'll be doing between 4 to 5 miles. This is again at a real casual pace. It's mostly just to stay loose in preparation for that race. If you're part of the run walk program, you guys are going to be out there on Tuesday for a total of 50 minutes. Your interval will be either a 2:8 or a 2:13, whichever you feel the most comfortable with. Again, you're just preparing for the race this weekend, so nice and casual is the way to do it. All right, next up, if you are training for rock and roll, let's take a look at what our kind of baseline training is going to be over the next 3 weeks before we drop into another recovery mode. Hopefully by then we'll actually have a new assigned date, but until then, this is what we've got planned for this Tuesday for all levels in the rock and roll crew. All right, so the rock and roll group, the run walkers, you guys will be out there between 50 and 60 minutes on this Tuesday. And then again, your interval is going to be listed as a 2:08 or 2:13. So this is 2 minutes walking followed by 8 minutes running, or 2 minutes walking followed by 13 minutes of running. Now the intermediate group, we have you out there for 6 to 7 miles. However, we did introduce last week a little bit of that lactate threshold run as part of this. So what does that look like? So if you're doing 6 miles, your first 2 miles are going to be nice and easy. This is true for both of you guys, for both two groups. Nice, easy, just kind of loosening up, getting warmed up. But then your remaining 4 miles, I like you to bring it up to your lactate threshold. Again, this is a speed or a race pace that you can maintain for the remaining distance of the course. So again, 2 miles easy, 4 miles at a quicker race pace. Or if you're doing 7 miles, you'll do 2 miles at that nice easy pace, and then 5 miles at your lactate threshold. For your PR chasers, you guys have a very similar approach as well, between 6 and 7 miles. If you're doing 6 miles, again, your first 2 will be nice and easy. Your last 4 will be brought up to lactate threshold. Or your second option is that you decided to do 7, and then you just kind of maintain it at marathon race pace or marathon goal pace the entire 7 miles. So this means not a lot of warm-up period. Your break is bringing up to that level of intensity and trying to maintain it for the entire distance of the run. All right, that's your Tuesday plan for this week. All right, and if you're part of the Restart program, you are now falling into week 7. We hopefully have built up a pretty strong base underneath us, and now we're going to incrementally be adding on not only distance, but time on our feet and level of intensity over the next couple weeks to make sure that we're getting primed and ready for the next race. So here's what we got planned for you this week if you're part of the Restart group for rock and roll. For the run walk program, you guys are going to be out there for a total of 50 minutes. We have a new interval for you this week. This is going to be listed as a 1:4 or a 2:8. So this is 1 minute walking followed by 4 minutes of running, or 2 minutes of walking followed by 8 minutes of running. The intermediate group, you guys are listed as doing a nice, easy, casual 5 miles. So go out there and have a good time. But again, we're still kind of building up. You're not far off from the rest of the group. Pretty soon you'll be doing the same distance as the rock and roll group. So we'll combine you all up a little bit later in the season. But right now, that's what we've got planned for you this week. All right, so this week we are meeting on Tuesday at the County Administration Building. Now, we've met in this place multiple times in the past. However, this time we're going to change up our route. Instead of heading towards the Convention Center, we're going to head the opposite direction towards Point Loma and Liberty Station. So with that, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the map and get a good handle on what the route's going to look like today. Anything surprising here, we're going to head north towards the airport, heading along the bay. You're going to run in front of the Coast Guard station there, and then once we pass the Coast Guard station, you're going to continue down past Spanish Landing. Then you're going to head up and over the pedestrian bridge. This is eventually going to drop you off at Landing Road. That is going to be your turnaround point, and then you'll head back to the County Administration Building. This total route should be exactly at 6 miles. All right, that concludes everything we've got planned for this Tuesday as we head into La Jolla. When we get a little bit further in the weekend on our Saturday post, we'll talk a little bit about the prep, but the biggest things that you need to be remembering heading into this race week are, one, all your training for this race is primarily done at this point. There's nothing new that you can do to improve your overall finishing time. The best thing that we can do is making sure that we give our bodies the opportunity to kind of recover a little bit before that race, staying on top of nutrition, and staying on top of hydration. These really need to be starting probably on Friday evenings as we prepare for actually doing that race on Saturday. So about 48 hours in advance is really what we need to be looking at from a true nutrition perspective. And then on the day of our actually race, I assume that you're probably going to be doing it early in the morning, which means that on Saturday evening, kind of maybe about 5 o'clock will be the last time that you have a decent sized meal. And of that, you want to make sure that it's nice and clean. clean, nothing new introduced into your system that would cause any type of stomach upset or anything before your actual race itself. Now, I believe the La Jolla Half Marathon has already sent out emails about how they're going to actually run the virtual race. I also just wanted to bring to your attention is that I've created 2 routes for you. One of them is where you'll need to be dropped off in La Jolla in the Del Mar Fairgrounds area and then run the actual course itself to the finish line in La Jolla, where you need to be picked up by somebody. That's the actual route itself. The second option that you've got available for this virtual half marathon is you can rerun the route that we did for the San Diego Half Marathon. So this starts down near the downtown gas lamp area, plenty of parking on a Sunday morning, running around the harbor, taking you up Washington Street, and then finishing back in the very similar area. Again, that route is listed as 13. I kind of like that route because you can find parking and you can do it as an individual. You don't need anybody else to pick you up and drop you off. But I wanted to provide you with both options so that you can decide which is the most appropriate to you and which you'd actually like to do for your virtual race. Alrighty, with that, good luck if you're running La Jolla. We'll go over some of this stuff again on our Friday video, but between 9 and then, again, remember, low intensity, focus on recovery, focus on nutrition, and focus on hydration, as those are going to be your key components in having a great race. All right, that's all we have for you this week for week 14. We will see you on Friday morning. And remember, stay connected, be safe, run strong, and we'll see you guys on Friday.